Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. If you are new here, this isn't normally my setup. I am at my parents' house this week today when I needed to film this, and so I'm in like my bedroom at my parents' house here, so a little bit different of a setup. Also got a dirty chai from my favorite hometown coffee shop, so Today's video is something a little different than I normally talk about on my channel, but I got a lot of requests to do a video like this where I'm talking about how to build friendships in your 20s, because I shared on my channel and my Instagram and TikTok how right during post-grad season 2 summers ago, I went through a very big spout of loneliness, and I'm gonna get into like how that happened and then how I kind of overcame that and started to build new friends in my 20s. And I'm so thankful for the friends I have now. Having great friends in my life is like my number one wellness priority, just for me, my life, my mental health. Like, I need that social element to my life, and I didn't realize how much I needed it until I went without it for almost a year. So I've shared a lot about my friends on Instagram, and I've recently gotten some really sweet comments from you guys just about like, you have such great friends, like how do you find friends to go on a book retreat with, or how do you make rich friends? Someone said that to me, and I thought that was a gorgeous way of putting it, like rich friendships, not in the sense of money or financially, obviously. Like, how do you have rich friendships in the sense of, you know, just that feeling of like you can really trust someone and they're loyal and you have fun together and it's not so serious all the time, but also you can have those serious, deeper moments. Like, I think that is what encompasses having a rich friendship. I also wanted to share that if you currently feel like you're missing out on life because you don't have a right group of friends, or you don't have your best friend or your girl group, or things we see online, don't feel like you're behind in life or you're never gonna find friends if you currently don't have like that best friend or that girl group. Or like me, you had such a great group of friends in college, and then after college everyone had to go their separate ways for work and opportunities, and then you felt like, oh, I have to start from zero. Like, just know that a lot of people are feeling that way, especially your 20s. I don't know why. Well, I do know why it feels this way. I think one is because we went from having built-in friendships through high school, college classes, extracurriculars, things like that, and it turned into where we're not doing as much. A lot of people you get stuck in the routine of going to work, going home, doing it all over again. We're tired. I think also the pandemic and being stuck at home, and it being a lot of us maybe losing that social aspect of our lives during that time, and also just social media. I think a lot of times we feel connected to people, but we all know that those online relationships are great, and I think they're amazing starting points, but nothing beats having someone with you in person. So I wanted to kind of share my journey and any little tips that I could share on how to make friends in your 20s. So like I said, I feel like I had a really great group of friends in college. I'm still friends with them. They're now my long distance friends, which I'm going to talk about at the end of the video actually. But when my core college friend group started to move away and I began working for myself, I also moved into a studio apartment by myself, so I was working alone all day, would not talk to anyone, see anyone, living alone 24/7. My boyfriend lived about like an hour away, so I would only see him on the weekends. And a lot of my friends that I felt comfortable in college just calling up like, hey, come over, watch a movie. Hey, let's just go grab dinner. I had connections and friends, but I lost the people that I was closest with, like that it was super comfortable, casual. So here are kind of some of the things that I started doing and some other tips that I've thought of to help if you're in a similar situation like that, where you're like, I'm ready to meet new people, whether you moved to a new city, your friends moved away, maybe you've never had that core group of friends. Here are some tips. Okay, so the first one is don't be afraid to share your interests. And what I mean by this is like post about what you love on social media. Okay, we're gonna start there. Let's say you don't know anyone in person around you. Start on social media. That is how I've met a lot of friends. We start just DMing, following each other, because like, oh, I like her vibe. Oh, she loves reading fantasy books too. Oh, she has a podcast, like let me follow. She has a small business, let me follow and reach out and just send a DM that I like her page. That is how a lot of my friends have started, and I find them through their interests and they find me through my interests. So if you're not someone who posts regularly on Instagram, maybe use it just for the way of meeting new people, because don't feel like it's cringy to share what you're reading on your Instagram story. Don't feel like it's cringy to show you love going horseback riding on the weekends. like really share your interests, because you never know who's following you that shares that same interest. And I love when people like respond to my story about something, or, you know, something I'm reading, and they respond to like, oh, I read this book, you should read this one next. Like sometimes I hear from girls that I haven't heard from in 3 or 4 years because they just see something on my story that interests them too, and they want to chat about it. And then we maybe start that friendship up again, or they're a stranger to me, but we realize through Instagram that we have a lot in common. And so we're like, wait, maybe we should like get coffee. And so don't be afraid to share what you're interested in, because you never know who's following you, who's seeing your stories that also may want to hang out and do those interests with you and those hobbies. I know everyone says like, oh, try new things, like put yourself out there, which I 100% agree with. However, some like things that you try out, it's easier to bring people to. That kind of goes into like finding people on Instagram and being like, oh, you like workout classes? Let's go to a workout class together. Because I've noticed that if I just like went to a Pilates class expecting to meet friends, I'm not going to meet anyone, because everyone shows up like 3 minutes before class. They do the class. You obviously like can't really talk during a workout class, and then they're out of there, headed to work, headed to their next event. So if I just like showed up to a Pilates class and was like, I want to make other friends who like Pilates, I probably would not make them in the class. But that's why it's great to connect like on Instagram and be like, oh, you like Pilates too? Let's go to a class together, and then grab dinner after, or grab coffee after, or a smoothie. And so that's where Instagram and I feel like social media can help move those friendships along into in-person friendships. My biggest one is say yes to everything starting out. Obviously, as you begin to make friends and meet people, you don't have to keep saying yes to everything. But for me, how I started to make my great group of friends that I have now in Nashville is I just randomly enrolled myself basically into this local Bible study. I saw on a page that this girl who I didn't even follow, okay, was hosting a girls' Bible study in Nashville. I DM'd her and was like, hey, I'm looking to meet new friends in Nashville. Can I join your study? And she said, absolutely. I showed up to this Bible study of like 20 something other girls. I did not know anyone else there, okay? I showed up, we all kind of, no one knew anyone there, but I went, I introduced myself, I kept going, even though I will say like the first probably 5 weeks that I went to this Bible study, it was kind of awkward. Like I didn't know anyone, people were understanding me, understanding what I do. And it wasn't until like a few weeks in that I started to feel comfortable going. So I put myself outside of my comfort zone, and now almost 2 years later, I have a group of friends in Nashville that I love, that I feel so comfortable with, that we have so many interests, and that I see regularly. They're the girls that go on my book retreats, like a few of us from the Bible study realized we all love reading fiction and fantasy books. And so we kind of now are a group of friends. I have other friends from that Bible study that don't read that I'm still friends with. We have other connections, and so an interest that are alike. And so you just have to keep saying yes and get yourself out of your comfort zone. It's challenging, I know. Also for our generation, I know it's uncomfortable showing up to things alone, but sometimes you just have to put in the work early on, and I promise you, you'll be able to reap the benefits later. Also, after I had joined that Bible study, I would get invited to some of the girls' birthdays, and even if they were like inconvenient to my schedule, I would say yes and go. And just saying yes a lot at the beginning to show them that I'm invested, that I want to get to know them, that I like them. And you just have to like put in the effort. If you want to receive effort from new friends, you have to put in the effort too. It's like a two-way street. With that being said, don't be afraid to invite people or host things either. I think hosting things is also a great way to merge friend groups. So like Halloween this past year, I hosted a little Halloween party at my apartment, and I invited my friends like from college, like my group of friends that I've known for longer, with my new friends that I made through this Bible study, and was able to like introduce people. And that's, you know, and I also brought Bree, my neighbor, which you've seen in videos. Like I just kind of like all my friends from the Nashville area, we're gonna come together, and that's such a great way for them to make connections, to meet people as well. That's also a great way if you're looking for a significant other for me, like that's how I met my boyfriend. Is my friend Skylar took us on a trip like with her hometown high school friends and her college friends, and we all mingled together on the trip. So it's also a great way to meet guys or a significant other, but it's also a great way to make even more friends. That goes into my next tip, which is you never know who you're gonna meet next. Basically, let's say you meet a group of girls and you kind of vibe with them, but you know, like you're probably not gonna be best friends. That's okay. But what's amazing is maybe they have another friend that you get introduced to at one of the get-togethers, and that other friend becomes your new best friend. You just never know who you're gonna meet, who you're gonna hit it off with. So like I said, if you get with a group of people, even if you don't feel like, oh, I don't really feel I don't feel like they're going to be like my core group of friends. Still go, still be grateful that they're inviting you to things. Hang out with them, because again, you never know if like the next party, the next barbecue, the next pool day, you can meet your best friend or your boyfriend or something like that. So it's all about just saying yes and putting in the effort, going back to those two things. I also want to say, don't get discouraged. Like I said, these things take time, and you may have to go through some failed friendships first to get to those people that you really connect with. And also, I think in your 20s and post-grad, it takes longer to get close to friends because you're not in confined spaces. Like in college, I became best friends with my roommates, Skylar, we were previously friends, and Ellie, which you guys have probably known if you've been on my channel for a while. We became best friends quick because we were living together and we like worked well together. Meanwhile, like I said, the friends that I've made now in post-grad, it's taken 6 months to a year and a half to feel that level of closeness that I got with my college friends within like 3 months. So you're just not seeing them as often because we all have other schedules and jobs and stuff. You're not living with them. So it's just gonna take more time to get to that deeper level of connection and friendships and comfortableness, but you just have to like write it out. You just have to keep going and putting in the effort. So if you're moving to like a more populated area, a city, don't be as scared about making friends. I think if you follow these other tips, you will find that you can find your people pretty quickly, or at least like you're gonna find people that are also open and wanting to make friends, because a lot of people are new and a lot of people don't know anyone. So you're not alone in that. My last tip for making new friends is to get people's Instagrams or numbers right away, okay? If you're at a party, let's say a big group get together and you're chatting with someone and you're really hitting it off, like before the conversation ends, be like, oh, let me grab your Instagram, or oh, I have this rec for a coffee shop you'll love. Let me get your number so I can text it to you. Like just make the connection so that you have it. And then again, you can connect with them on Instagram. You can follow up. You can be like, oh, let's go try this new thing together. Like, or hey, I'm hosting a book club. Do you want to be a part of it? Don't be afraid to ask for that and to really like solidify those connections. Those are my tips for making new friends. To summarize it, put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to share your interests on social media so you find like-minded people, and put in the effort at the beginning. When it does come to making new friends, I feel like it takes more effort than it does to keep current friendships. But with that being said, here are my tips for long distance friends, because like I said, almost all 90% of my core college friend group, like I was super close with freshman year through senior year, have moved away and live in different states. So here's how I keep in touch with like my core like best friends. Phone calls, I feel like, are the easiest way to keep in touch. I try to have like weekly phone calls with some people. Sometimes it's like, I know I want to talk to them every few weeks or once a month. I don't keep it track. Like, I guess I could like put it on our calendars, but I kind of just like keep it in my head. Like, oh, I haven't talked to so-and-so since this happened, or in a few weeks. Like, let me call her up. Let me see when she can call. A lot of times me and my friends will just randomly call each other. And if we can pick up, great. If not, we know we can call back at another time. It's very easy. I love chatting with friends on long car drives, or like going on a walk and talking with them just to like, or while I'm cooking dinner, something where I can like give them my full attention. Also, I do think it's important to still see each other in person when you can. I know flights can be expensive, but looking for deals, booking flights enough in advance to where we can go visit each other. I usually see these friends like a few times, like 3 to 4 times a year. Sometimes they come to me and they stay at my apartment, so we save money there. Sometimes I fly to them, we stay at their apartment, and then like maybe once a year we'll do a trip where like we're flying somewhere together and kind of doing like a weekend vacation with each other. So it kind of depends where y'all live and like what you want to do, but don't feel like to keep these long distance friends you have to be traveling every 3 months to these fancy vacations to see them. Like, keep it simple and just enjoy the quality time together. Stay connected on social media. This is one of the reasons I love social media, because I can see what my friends are up to. They can see what I'm up to every day because I post on my stories every day, and it just makes it easier to kind of know what's going on in each other's lives without having to talk 24/7. And then another way you can kind of stay connected is just sending little notes, cards, thinking about you, sending flowers. Also like just sending a Venmo for coffee every now and then, or if you know they had like a tough day, you can send them a treat or an Uber Eats credit, or yeah, just like $7 for a latte or something. So I think there's a lot of little ways that you can stay close and connected even if you're long distance and you don't see each other very often. All right, and those are all my tips for making new friends, keeping up with your long distance friends. Guys, it's tough. The social game can be tough in your 20s, but I promise it is worth the work. It is worth the effort. I'm so glad 22-year-old me put in the work to find new friends, so that now at 24, I feel like I have a great group of friends, different friend groups, best friends, and just people that I can rely on and count on. It really is like such a great feeling. And so if you're currently looking for that, I wish you the best in finding it. And let me know if any of these tips or thoughts helped, or if you have any tips for how you met your friend group, like leave them in the comments. Let's help each other out because it's rough out there, okay? Our 20s are rough enough as it is. You need that community around you, and I promise you'll find it. That is gonna be it for today. I hope you guys like this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.